passion inside. Heaven knows I'm living my dreams. As I look upon my life, there's a passion inside. Heaven knows I'm living my dream.
Good morning, everybody. Wow, man, it's summer and it's time to live again. Don't you think so? Yay, I am so excited for summer because I'm tired of all the layers that I was wearing in winter. And I think it's now time to breathe again, time to live again. So on this beautiful Thursday morning, you are on the Inside Show with none other than Talk with Joan Thursdays. And with me, I have our co-hosts in the studio. We are actually going solo, no guests today, because we are digging into a very important topic, and a topic that is very close to my heart. And I know I have a friend who actually loves this topic dearly. Her name is Sonia, Lady S. So she loves this topic too, and whenever we talk about this. So we are talking on the topic of finding your authentic self. My hosts here today actually just want to say hi to you all. And if you didn't tune in and if you didn't subscribe as yet, come on now, man. Don't waste time. Just hit that bell and then you will know what is happening on the Inside Show. So don't waste any time, because I'm telling you, on a Monday, it's fire in the studio. Woo! Goodness, these children are actually on Pastor Xavier's show. It's like, it's fire. It's for real. They are dealing with real stuff. That actually makes my mouth sometimes drop.
Real life issues.
Real life issues. So yes, guys, please talk with us, comment, and we will see how we can actually, take the topic further. So I'm going to give the ladies an opportunity, and before they actually going to greet you, our mirror question, the person looking back at you, what would you say is that person's purpose in life? What do you think is your purpose in life? Right? Okay. So these ladies are going to greet you. Thank you, guys.
Good morning, everyone. Ek kom van die Kaap af, Manila.
Welkom terug.
Welcome.
Not under very, pleasant circumstances, but it gave us the opportunity to connect with family, which I'm very grateful for. I'm also very grateful for traveling mercies, safe traveling mercies.
Yes.
The trucks on the road is just something else. So, yes. Good morning, everyone, and bring your coffee. I'm waiting for my tea, and we are going to have such an interesting conversation this morning. Also something very close to my heart, because I believe it's something I had to struggle with as well. It's being my authentic self.
That's correct.
Just being real.
Yeah.
And, not wearing a mask.
Yes.
Or letting the mask down.
Yes.
Yes. And letting others see your vulnerability.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for what we are going to share and engage in. And so please comment and, share with us this morning.
Please.
Joan, do you want me to immediately jump into the mirror, or should I just
let Anka just greet the people.
So from my side, hello. I'm so excited for today's topic. I think it resonates with me, and when Ma asked me, like, if this is the topic, I said, this is where I'm at right now. Because the transition taking place right now in my life, and finding that you need to be your authentic self. And how do you find your authentic self when there's so many social cues or so many traditions set before you that this is how it must be done, or this is how it was done, and people are looking for certain things, how it should be done. But who are you? How are you going to reach the best you?
Right.
The capacity that your full capacity, your full potential rather. how are you going to reach that, and by being your authentic self? So I think for me, I'm very excited for today's topic, and this whole transition taking place in the past week has been another one of those where you're like, okay, this is where you are right now. How are you going to navigate this? Yes, other people navigated it in a certain way, and they can maybe help you.
Yeah.
But how are you going to navigate it with your
Right.
authentic self? So I'm super excited. I just want to just say hello to everybody here. We've got Bernice Boyson. Hello, Auntie Nish. She says, good morning, beautiful ladies. Then we've got Ma. And then we've got Sandy Campus says, good morning. We're so excited to have a chat and that you're joining us here this morning. And we'd like to hear from you. So once again, please do comment.
Comment, guys. So yes, let's go into what do you think? Because sometimes you don't really understand why you are on the face of the earth, and sometimes there's a purpose for one season, and then the purpose change again, and so it's like you're navigating through it. So I wonder, why am I here? On the face of the earth, what is my purpose here? So I don't know, what do you think is your purpose in life now? I'm talking now. What would you think?
I'm glad you said the purpose changes. Because I believe as the seasons change, so does our purpose in life. I remember when I was young, I so badly wanted to be an air hostess. And at the time, I wasn't able to do so because of the apartheid era that we lived in. And so the next best thing was, an uncle came from Oudtshoorn and said to my parents that, those years, I think I had to leave standard 8 to go into education.
That's correct, yes.
The Afrikaner people would come and recruit us at the schools, at the high schools, to become teachers. And so I was one of those. And then I was talking to my nephew the other day and saying, but strangely enough, that became my life's purpose, vocation, my career. And and on those years, they used to say, teaching is not a job, it's a calling. And it's amazing how I found my purpose in education, to the point where I now that I get to, over the years got to know myself, understand myself, I know now that I love serving and I love teaching and I love making a difference in people's lives. And I think that was one of the reasons, one of the ways, so to speak, to make a difference in somebody's life or people's lives. For me, it was also very rewarding because it wasn't rewarding in terms of money.
Right.
Because teachers, I don't know if you guys can remember, teachers didn't get a lot of money. Yeah, we didn't earn a lot of money. But the rewards came in the form of when you see a child that you taught in grade 2, grade 3, I taught different various grades up until grade 11, never taught grade 12, never taught grade 1. But the reward is when you see someone and say, hi, do you remember me? I'm a lawyer now. I'm this now. I'm a doctor or whatever. Those are the rewards, that you made a difference in somebody else's life. So yes, in a nutshell, I believe my purpose is, I thought about it, John, and reflected, is serving and trying to make a difference on a daily basis.
Yeah, true.
And it doesn't have to be something big.
No, doesn't have to.
Doesn't have to be something major that you do. Just being kind.
Yeah.
To people.
On a daily basis.
Yeah. Kind to that lady at the till.
Yes.
Sometimes irritates you.
So true, my friend. Oh.
Talking, just be kind.
I have to remind myself with those guys that watch the cars.
Meester, wees ons genade.
I have to repent daily.
At the end of the day, I guess we're all only human. We have to repent every day. So we're gonna make mistakes. Yes, people are gonna rub us up the wrong way, and that's normal. And that's normal. I think for myself right now, I find myself in a space where my purpose is encouragement,
Yeah.
whether it is the smallest of ways. I may not be able to change people's lives by, paying for their education or
Yeah.
buying a new home or changing the situation significantly. However, we find ourselves in a space, and especially in the social media frame, where people are oppressed mentally. People's emotions. They say that I'm depressed, or I'm going through this and I'm going through that, and a state of mind is very powerful where
Yeah.
we are,
Yeah.
and that determines, okay, this is where I'm going with my life, or this in this situation. However, if we change perspective, if we change our frame of mind, it
Yeah.
could change so many things for us.
Yes.
And I find myself that every time when I'm in a conversation and I have to exhort someone, I have to say, okay, fine, I see that, but have you looked at it from this perspective? Have you
Yeah.
looked at it? And I think that's grace.
Yeah.
That's just grace in order, for me to be able to see something from a different perspective, as opposed to say, hi, jyne shame, hi, jyne, jy gaan nou deur die ding, okay. Instead of enabling the person, rather to say, okay, fine, how can we encourage each other? How can I encourage you
Right.
out of that? So I find myself in that a lot now. Well, not a lot now, but it's been coming on. It's
Yeah.
just now it's more in the forefront, where people has become our product. We work with people every day. We speak to people every day. So it's about encouraging and seeing how we can help change your life in that way.
I love that. It's actually awesome, because that actually fits with your calling, or
Yes.
what is it, your vocation that you're in right now, right?
Yes.
It fits with that.
It fits with that.
That role that you
And
have
that's
to
what
play.
we do as we speak word.
Yeah.
That is motivation.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That is
so.
motivational. That's
right.
what we do.
That's right.
And when we come and we teach,
Yes.
we teach for you to get out of your situation. We
Right.
teach, we see, and it's not stuff that we suck out of our thumbs. We have to spend time. We have to
Right.
put the work in it to be able to say, okay, fine,
Absolutely.
you are here because you are here, but
Yeah.
now we're going to get out of this. And when you
Yes.
get out of this, who gets the glory? God
Right.
gets the glory.
Amen.
That is what
Yeah.
we do. It's our
Yeah.
purpose.
Yeah.
I think my purpose at the moment is to groom. I think my purpose is just to be a helper.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Help each other, help others, help whoever needs the help, And I find myself enjoying that, and also because my love is prayer, so it's always where you get on a daily basis, you get a request, and you see what is happening in the society per se. And I don't find that there are a lot of people who are burdened with what is actually happening in the world today. And as we see that the writing is on the wall, actually, when we look at the signs of the time and we see what is happening, we actually as Christians don't have, some of us don't have the urgency,
Yes.
of drawing closer to God,
Yes.
And actually pray,
Yeah.
cover your children,
Yeah.
things like that. So I find myself now,
Yeah.
being that voice, telling
Yeah.
the people, listen, men, guys, look on the horizon.
Yes.
This is what the word says. If these things happen, know that the coming of the Lord is at hand, and things like that is happening at the moment. If you look at what is happening in the USA with those floods,
It's
it's guys, it's like
It's scary.
scary, hey? It's very
It's scary.
actually, and it's food for thought.
Yes, absolutely.
It makes you think.
Absolutely.
Makes you think.
You know what I also realized, John? I think the fear, people, the fear makes one become in denial.
Yeah.
We see these
Yeah.
things happening, but we also do not want to accept the reality
Yes.
thereof. That's why hence you're saying, as believers, we do not want to see the writing is on the wall in terms of
And it's
Jesus
time-
is coming.
and it's
Yeah.
time
You-
to
you
wake
know what I'm
up.
saying?
It's
Time to wake up.
But I think there's a big element of when we have to realize that Jesus is coming, we have
Yeah.
to start doing introspection.
Right.
We have to start cleaning out the closet.
Right.
And I don't think we want to do that because we're comfortable where we are. So now we have to really
Yes.
start cleaning out the spinnerrakke and alles.
Verstaan jy?
Because yes, Jesus is coming, and
But you know what
and we have
that
to be ready.
also says, guys? It's that we have become so comfortable in this world. We love the world, and we do not believe, even as believers, that this is not our home. This is not our permanent home.
It's not your permanent residence.
This is not
yeah.
our
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because is it Paul that says, whether we live or whether we die, it's unto the Lord. We live
Yeah.
unto God,
Yeah.
and we're gonna die, and then
Yeah.
it's in the Lord.
Yeah. And I think we have become, as Christians, we have become comfortable in this
Yeah.
sphere. We've become comfortable now here.
Yes.
So yeah, it's now not. We see the changes, but we don't want to see the changes,
Yeah.
and the fear now. We want to keep it in our comfort zone and the way things used to be.
Yeah.
I just want to get back real quick to
Yeah.
when Ma was going with Ma's purpose and all of that. One of the things that for me with Ma, it might not be your purpose, but it's definitely your gift, is to see the gift in someone else and to push that person to the point. And I speak from experience, and I've seen it so many times, people that come on the show and they say, nee, ek kan nie hier kom nie. Hoe nee, ek kan nie gesels nie. And when they do speak here, then like, you have all of that inside of you.
Yes.
So you have that ability to see that gift and really, push the person to want to be better, to want to reach that. Like, and in turn, a lot of people have found their purposes
Absolutely.
through that.
Yeah.
Where they found, oh, you know what? I actually do have this gift.
Yes.
I actually can do this. So I think that is something that I think is very powerful. That is also part of maybe Ma's purpose and where you are now. I know you do life coaching and all of that, but not everybody is able to see something in someone and say, okay, because sometimes I've seen someone, I'm like, ek sien nie daai. And then Ma's like, it is there, and you see it come to fruition.
Thank you. Thank you. That's it.
You mentioning, I'm so glad you mentioned, because while she was talking, I was actually reminded of the time when I asked her, I don't know if she can still remember, would you like to be my mentor?
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
It was in a salon.
In a salon. I approached
And
her.
you
I
have
didn't
that
know her, like really. And I said, would you like to be my mentor? And God just probably somehow orchestrated it that we had to connect at this point.
And I have to bring this up, and I'm sorry, I'm going to throw you under the bus. A while back, I think we were speaking about it, and you say, I don't like to speak in front of people or large crowds.
Yeah.
You're speaking in front of an audience on a podcast.
Exactly.
Why? Because Ma identified you, and you're able to do that.
And she has so much in her.
So much in you. I think for me, it was a matter of when I came here, I came from a much smaller place. I was like, you always question yourself, and you always have these insecurities, and you always have, because you grew up in a space where things had to be done in a certain way.
Yeah.
You had to look a certain way. You had to speak a certain way.
right.
And I remember when Ma said, you need to start stepping up now. And I was like, no, my kids are small. No, I had all the 10,000 of excuses. And they were, and Ma said to me, no, just do you, man.
Right.
It's fine, you like reg, kom net. There was
Yeah.
never an expectation that I needed to look a certain way.
Yeah.
There was never an expectation that I needed to speak a certain way. And it's not too long ago when I preached, and I think I was very nervous during that time. And I think it was my third or something sermon. And Ma just looked at me, she's like, yes, you just did you. I like you did you.
Yeah, it's nice.
And that's been a pivotal part for me finding my authentic self.
Right.
Because a lot of the times we find that because Ma did it a certain way, because Ma spoke in a certain way,
Right.
now I need to maybe put my hands in the same gestures because I need to be a certain way. And Ma's like, no, you need to be. And that has been pivotal in me finding who I am. I've seen a lot of times when I've seen preachers preach, but they've been coached by somebody else. And you can just hear the person that
Absolutely
coached
so.
them.
That's correct.
And you find that they don't really flourish as them because they try to do it like somebody else. They may have a gift, but because they're trying to fit it into a mold that was never meant for them,
Absolutely
they don't
so.
flourish. We were watching something yesterday of a different, I'm not sure if she's a pastor, but I think she's a pastor.
Yeah.
And she'd been trying to fit into a mold that was never hers. And you could see her struggling when she takes the mic. She's not being her authentic self, and it's not resonating.
Right.
But if she just found who she was,
Yes.
everybody would have heard her.
Yes.
Because she was living in the calling that God had called her to be. Speak the way God has made you.
That's so important.
Has made
That's
you.
It is.
vital.
I find
Because
yeah.
you can actually become someone else and live in the shadow of that person until you
So
die.
true. Yes, so
You know, and never live you. Never
never
live
reach
your
your full
full potential.
So true. You know what that also causes is for one to not feel good enough, because you start
You feel
comparing yourself
inadequate, yeah.
inadequate.
Inadequate.
You start comparing yourself to others. I don't speak the way she speaks. I don't make the same gestures, you know, especially in preaching. I cannot, you know, go across the floor,
Stage,
the
yeah.
stage. I'm one that likes to be in a, you know, just a standing,
Comfortable position, yeah.
position.
Yes.
Standing behind the podium, yeah.
So when we start doing that to ourselves talk, one starts paralyzing yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're overthinking
And
and,
like
you're
you
paralyzed.
challenged me, and you
Yeah.
start, and it grows with me
Absolutely
personally.
so.
It just started piling up, where I started shying back.
Yes.
Now that's not for me.
Yeah.
That's not for me.
Because you have
That's-
this preconceived
I've
idea
got this
it has to
yes,
be a certain way.
It has to be a certain way, because I've watched others and I've seen, and in my mind they were doing very well.
Yeah.
So I'm like, no, Violet, that's not you.
Yeah.
That's
You know,
not
there's
Now,
a
there's
place.
always-
there's
It's
a
not-
place for me, and it's right here.
It's right
It's
here.
for other people.
No,
and you
no,
don't.
you
and
see,
it
there's
causes-
always something more in life.
right.
Where you at the moment
Yes.
is not really where you want to be, because
Yes.
you have a blueprint for your life.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, yes.
And many times we actually want to fit into the blueprint.
Yeah.
But in the interim, we can lose ourselves.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
In the rat race of life,
Yes, Yeah.
you
yes.
can actually lose yourself.
Yes.
And I know what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
because I went through it myself.
Yeah.
And you know, I was when I was a little child, you know, I always wanted to be this a teacher, or my first thing was to be a social worker,
Right.
because I loved people.
Yes.
From little men,
Yeah.
I used to love people,
Yeah.
and I always used to find the people who struggled.
Wow.
I don't know, I just had that within me. And as I was growing, you know, I always used to run to the house if I see, oh, this little girl looks like she's hungry, or my friend. I always used to befriend them.
Yes.
And go fetch bread and give it to them, or just
Yeah.
that type of person I was. I used to always be like, you know, outspoken. Ek het gelyk dans.
Yeah.
Ek het gelyk dans. My mother used to always call me when she had visitors. You know, when the bumps was in, you know, that bump dance.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yo, and you know, I was most now thin.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was quick on my feet.
Yes.
And my mother used to call me always, and then she used to sit with her friends, and then she used to call me and say, I must come do this dance for them. So, but as I grew,
Yes.
as I came into the kingdom,
Yeah.
that thing
Yeah.
disappeared.
Yes.
I then heard a girl must be seen and not heard.
Right.
I then heard that you can't do A, B, and C.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can't wear A, B, and C. That takes from your potential.
It does.
That actually takes from the actual person
Yes.
that you are meant to be.
Right.
And in this race, now you come into ministry. I'm just giving you a little bit of where I come from. Now you come into ministry. Now you find that, oh, wow, so this is how they did it. They do it. Yeah. This is how you must speak. This is how you must dress. This is how you must behave. I never used to speak in conversations because it was at the back of my mind. No, I must just be there.
Right.
I never
Used to engage.
used to engage.
Yes.
Never. Because that is what I was taught.
Yeah.
Even if I have an opinion, I never used to raise it.
Yeah.
That actually pulled me as a tortoise
Yeah.
who pulls its head
And it dog-
within
yeah,
its shell.
Yeah, in the shell.
That is exactly what happened to me. And I actually went on like that. But when it was testimony times, and in the olden days,
Yeah.
when it's say, I'm number one.
Yeah.
I used to quote scriptures, used to come from the back right to the front. I was very bold,
Yes.
but yet you couldn't use that
Yeah.
and bring out that hoe sê hulle die poesie of when you recite or so.
Yeah.
If I now see the spoken word and I used to write, girlfriend. I used to write in my books. Honestly speaking, I was busy writing the other day, as I was busy with a little bit in my book. I was writing, and I sat still at the desk, and I said, "Here, Joan, jy het jouself verloor.
Wow.
You lost yourself in the interim of life."
Yes.
To be quite honest with you.
Yes.
And
It happens.
if there's nobody that actually identifies the potential,
Yeah.
you'll stay in that shell.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
And when I got married, things then started unraveling again. My husband gave me opportunities. I never wanted to preach
Yeah.
at first, because my first priority was, you go, I'll see to the children.
Yeah.
My children was my everything. I didn't want them to get hurt,
Yes.
in the church. It's a sea of people. They but just little children.
Yeah.
And so you actually, even in that race, and I'm saying this to Anka, even in the race of ministry,
Yeah.
you can lose yourself.
Absolutely.
You can lose the identity that you have.
Yeah.
But thank God it's a different generation now.
Yes.
It's totally different.
It is totally different, and I think for that, in this few short months, I could see how that could take place.
Yeah.
Because people have a preconceived idea of how
That's
things
correct.
must be,
Yeah.
and people have a way of telling you straight to your
That's
face what they
right.
think of you.
That's right.
But I think, and this is where I say again, and I don't think I can negate this in any conversation. I have the privilege of having Ma to say, Nia, that's not going to work here. That's not going to
Right.
work here.
Yeah.
This is who you are. Stay focused, stay focused, stay focused, which I think is so important to have someone. A while back, I think it was 2 years back, we were speaking about the whole Elizabeth and
Mary.
and as well as Ruth and
and
Naomi,
Naomi.
where you must have someone who you know beyond a
Yes.
shadow of a doubt
Yes.
has got your best interest at heart and wants to
Right.
see you
Flourish. Yeah.
in that. You
And bloom.
and bloom, because there's so much inside of you. God has
Yes.
created you for a purpose,
Yeah.
and the devil's going to try everything, and it's going to look a bit right.
Yeah.
The way he curbs you. Yes, we have to be groomed, and we have to be cut. Our corners need to be hoe sal ek sê, scarf.
Gescarf, yeah.
Yeah,
Shaped.
Shaped, yeah.
shaped and molded
Yeah.
into.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
that's true. That needs to happen, but it shouldn't stifle your growth.
Absolutely
It shouldn't
so.
stifle your purpose and where you're supposed to go. And I think for that, I'm really, really grateful how to navigate with my children now. I'm not going to have it perfect. I'm not going to know every time, but at least I have someone in my corner to say,
Yes.
hey, watch out for that one. Watch out for this. Watch out for that, so that I can flourish in that. So I think it's important to find a proper mentor,
Because sometimes you find that your husband have the vision, and when he's in that mold, that frame of mind,
Yes.
it's like a tunnel that is in.
Yeah.
So he wants to see this vision that is before him,
Yeah.
come into fruition. And so he does not see anything else.
Yeah, it's
You know
really
what I'm
tunnel
saying?
vision.
It's
Yeah.
tunnel vision.
Yeah,
It's
yes.
tunnel
Yeah,
vision.
everything else is
and so
obscured.
you, as the wife, you actually are the person who needs to find your way. You actually have to guard here,
Yes.
check here, do here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no.
And it's a different ball game altogether.
And-
because in that Vi,
Yeah.
you have to know how to change the caps.
Yes.
you have to know what role am I in right now.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, because then you get upset because your husband don't help you, your husband don't do A, B, and C. I was like that.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about me, guys.
No. It reminds me of, I'm so glad that you're saying that, because the husbands, that they don't mean, it's not intentional that they're doing
it's
that.
not.
They are focused.
Absolutely.
My husband's son, and when we were with them over the weekend, both the wives, myself and the son's wife, we realized that the dad and the son had something in common.
Wow.
They both do not eat when they work, and they do not. And in that moment when they concentrate, they're not nice to you because of the concentration. It's like, moet my nie disturb nie. Ministerie. Because I'm about, and I'm sure when it's a pastor, I'm about my father's business. I'm concentrating. So in that moment, they do not.
Yeah, my husband's like that, and he doesn't hear you.
They don't hear you, and I don't want
Doesn't hear you.
The irony.
Do you understand? And in that moment, in the beginning, I used to take offense, and I seer gekry, and I felt hurt. And as I got to know him, I realized that is just
nothing personal.
It's not personal. It's not that he doesn't love me. He's focused now.
I'm laughing because myself and my husband had this conversation.
Yeah.
And it's normal because
Yes.
there's a duplication.
Right.
Because he saw that's how it's done, and that's how he was raised.
right.
I mean, I'll never forget the one day I was speaking to Dad, and I was like, Dad, this, that, and the other. And he's just staring into oblivion. Dad. It's like, hi, I was busy thinking, I was zoning out.
Yes.
And the other day I was like, me and Xavier had the conversation. I'm like, ja, maar you gesê. He's like, jy het nie niks gesê nie. But he was sitting
And
right
it's
next
true.
to
That
me.
happens.
It was right next to me.
Yes.
And
They're
you're
not there at the
They're not
moment
there.
when they
Yes.
concentrate on something else.
and it used to frustrate the
Yes.
daylights out of me.
Yeah.
Now it's like, I'll hold him. There, I need to say something. Or, Xavier, we're having a conversation,
Yeah.
and you realize that there's nothing personal. And I think just to resonate with Ma, that a
Yeah.
lot of the times we feel neglected because
Yes.
there's this tunnel vision. And I always say to my husband, you have two extremes.
Yeah.
Either you're in it or you're not. There's no middle ground for
Right.
him. And when he's in it, he runs on that race. Alles moet afval langs die pad. Hy hardloop. And then I had to realize that my purpose is to shield him from the side and that side, and have the conversation to tell him, I feel unappreciated.
Yeah.
I feel like you're not seeing me. And then he'll shut me down, and he'll be like, you'll see he'll be like in an uncomfortable spot because he now needs to concentrate to give you the attention that you
Right.
need. He needs to now
Right.
intentionally make that decision.
Because you made him aware.
I made him aware.
Yeah.
And then he'll lose
I
it
used to
again.
write letters when I make the lunch.
Yeah.
I used to say, I miss you.
Wow.
Yeah. I used to write.
Yeah, I think
my
I
husband.
did that too. I miss
Yeah.
it. Miss
I
my
said,
mind.
Yeah.
I'm missing you.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the times where things go astray is that we feel a certain way, but we don't voice it properly.
Right.
So we feel like, yes, you are in your purpose,
Yeah.
but I have a purpose too. How are you not supporting me in my purpose? And we feel like, yeah, you don't see, but we forget that we as women, we think and feel differently because
Yeah.
we're emotional beings. So we feeling this, they like, alles is supposed to right.
Yeah.
You know I'm here.
Yeah.
I
And you
married
know
you,
I
and
love
you
you.
know I love you. So
Yes.
why are you so needy? But it's not because it's personal or not because they don't see you. It's just genuinely how they're wired. And when their purpose is set before them, they run to get this thing done. And we forget that as much as we do have purpose, part of our purpose is to support, is
Yeah.
to be there, is to see and shield and guide. But there's nothing wrong with just voicing your opinion or voicing or saying, "Hey, but I feel a certain way and I'm here now also. Can I have some of your support?"
Yeah, but to get back to the finding yourself in your authentic self is, sometimes when you lose yourself in the interim of life, you actually lose a lot. You lose your joy because you're not the same person as you were before. That authentic self is gone.
Yeah.
It's missing. It's somewhere. It's like this almost this picture that's
Screensaver.
on here.
Yeah.
The screensaver that's on here. It's
Right.
like a maze field.
maze, yeah.
Where you lose yourself. because things happen to you in life. People betrayed you.
Yeah.
You know, you can find betrayal in so many ways.
So
Your
true.
trust is
Yeah.
broken,
Yeah.
you know, and now you don't trust anymore. And
Right.
before you used to trust, that's losing yourself.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you're not that type of person.
Yeah.
You all of a sudden becomes, your antennas goes up for when you hear
Yeah.
something. I'm talking about myself.
Yes,
You have
yes.
your own experiences. You go through a marital breakup.
Yeah.
You know, your marriage is not where it is supposed to be. Your husband and you can actually lose one another in
Yes.
your relationship.
Oh, yes.
You know, because of the busyness of life.
Right.
So that is where you lose the connection between you and your partner, you know, between a relationship with a friend, because there was betrayal, you know,
Right.
because your trust was broken. You shared something in confidence, and all of a sudden it is lies that is told about you. You know
Yes.
what I'm saying? That is where you actually lose yourself in the interim of life, in the journey of life. So it is important for you to do introspection,
Yes.
and check and go back to the place, you know,
Yeah.
where you feel you've lost yourself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because guys, can I be honest with you? You become an ugly person if you are not you, if you're not your authentic self. You lose your joy.
Yes.
And joy is your birthright.
That's right.
You have to be joyous.
Yes.
And in today's life, I don't know whether you guys see people are joyous. I don't see any people who are really joyous.
Yeah.
Because people go through so much. You know, inflation rate that is so high. People can't manage their bonds. People can't manage to buy food, put food on the table. People can't. So now you fall into a mold. You know, you fall into this, I don't know, it's something that gets a hold of you.
Yeah. I think it's also
That's
affects
why
our
there's the depression is
depression.
so high.
I was gonna say now, and causes
Anxiety.
So it affects us physically.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
manifest.
I think a lot of what happens when trauma happens to all of us. It's part of life.
Yeah.
However, we allow that to define who we are.
Yeah.
So people say, I am the way I am because this happened. And that's not your authentic self.
Right.
That is a result of trauma that happened, and there was effects that needed to be dealt with. But if you go and ask yourself, if I was 5 years old, or if I was 10 years old, what would my natural reaction would have been to a situation like this? Who would I have forgiven the person? Because the Bible says we have to be like children. Because I look at my own children, and there's times when maybe I'm a bit frustrated with them and I maybe lash out at them. But 2 minutes later, my children want me. I want
That's
mommy.
true.
They are so forgiving.
Yeah.
That's who they are.
Yeah.
But what happens to them later on in life now shapes them into somebody different. But that's not who
Absolutely
their
so.
authentic self
That's
is.
exactly it.
So we allow whatever happens to us to define us. Yeah, but I am this way now and ek is so gemaak en gelaat staan. No, that's not how you were made. You allowed situation to define who you are in today. And now we become grumpy. Now we become moody. Or now we become we say, I'm just an honest person. Yeah, jy's 'n ongeskikte mens.
Yes.
You allowed something to happen and now you feel like you must get them before they get you.
That's right.
And you know, the difference between children and adults is that we hold on to things.
Yeah,
we
that's true.
harbor things.
That's
Ek gaan jou
true.
kry.
We
That is
remember
waar.
We remember.
Jy wil revenge
Jy wil
pay.
revenge uithaal. And that builds what we don't realize, bitterness,
Yeah,
anger,
Yeah,
resentment
that's
towards
true.
someone.
Yeah.
You know, it's not healthy.
It's not healthy. And
Because it affects us physically, like we just said, causes mental, illnesses like depression, anxiety, and you become a bitter person, and that bitterness spills.
spills out. And that's what I want to fix. I just want to fix. I said,
Yeah.
nee, jy's 'n ongeskikte mens. And what I mean by that is that bitterness speaking.
Yes.
You become abrasive.
Right.
Or I mean, there was this one time we were speaking, and it's like you were saying, the ladies, the cashiers,
Yeah.
at the sometimes they rude to you.
Yes.
But and a lot of the times,
Sometimes they really
if you don't like your job, then and I was one of those who said, if you don't like your job, then why are you working? And then you go back and you realize this person probably doesn't want to work, but they have to work.
have to.
They have to. They don't have a choice.
Maybe they came to work with some issues.
Some
Maybe
issues.
they got up very early, or maybe they have a sick child.
at home.
Or,
And they don't get paid a lot.
Yes.
So they have to just weather it through. So there's stuff
Right.
happening. They had to get on a taxi. They had to travel an hour and a half to get to work. They leave at 8 o'clock
Yes.
tonight. They don't get to spend time with the children. I had a conversation with a lady that works at Ackermans. And she was saying that, no, we work right through.
Right.
They work Saturday to Monday, sometimes on a Sunday as well, till 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
From 8 o'clock to 6 o'clock. When do they spend time with their children?
Yeah.
So now
Absolutely
you
so.
become this bitter person because, like, why me? How have I got to this space? And then you realize that has started to define who they are
Yes.
without them realizing it. But where do we come in with our purpose? To exhort, to encourage, to see that this person is acting
To
from a place.
smile. To
Yes. Just
And you know, if
be
you have,
kind.
if you know who you are,
Yeah.
and you find your authentic self,
Yes.
automatically you will be more joyful, because money does not bring joy.
No.
You know, you can have a good husband and have a good relationship,
Yes.
and you can actually have everything going for you. But
Yes.
if you do not have joy deep within,
And
in
peace.
the core, and peace in your heart, and love who you are, not what your neighbor.
Right.
You know, sometimes, and especially women, especially us, we always want to look over the fence to see
Yeah.
what my neighbor have, so I
Right.
also want it.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, even though I cannot afford it, I'm going to make a debt
Right.
to be able
Yeah.
to
gonna
live
fight my
up,
husband.
to live up
Yes.
To the
to
children.
the, and I'm going to actually put such a lot of pressure on my husband, you know, because I also want that type of
And he must
microwave.
provide.
And he must, yes, he's
must
the
provide.
provider.
Yeah,
He's
that's
the
the order of things.
provider, and long gone are those things. Those things are long
Yes.
gone, that the woman must be at home and the husband
Yeah.
must work. No, today's life requires for both of us to
Parties to
work.
work.
Yes.
You
But
know,
also, when you have that microwave and you've enjoyed it now and you're excited and it's out of the box and
it's
you're
only
using
for
it,
that
and
week.
then it's
After
done.
that,
Yeah.
now I
another
need
thing.
something else.
Yeah.
Now it's
Now
on
I
to
need
the next.
a Chanel bag or a Gucci
Absolutely,
bag. Now
because
need
you
a
think
Vuitton.
that will define
Yes,
you.
it
You
does.
think what you wear will define you, and
Right.
that is why we go for name brands.
Yes.
Because if you don't feel
Yeah.
good about yourself, if it's not within
Dan
you,
begryp ons
you're
ons in
gonna
goed.
you're
Ja.
gonna look for things from the
Absolutely.
outside.
Absolutely.
And
you know.
it's an insatiable appetite. It's something that you can't satisfy.
No, you can't.
You can't.
Yeah.
Because you can be in the shopping malls today and you could buy R1,000,000 worth of clothes. If you've worn them tomorrow, then you need another R1,000,000 worth of
Yes.
shopping clothes.
Yes.
And so the desire just grows and grows because there's something inside of you. You don't have joy. You're not content. You don't know who you really are because that defines. No, I can't show up to this event in last week's shoes. I
Right.
need new shoes. The people are going to look at me. But you forget that there's a person in the shoes. The person is what must make the shoes. We forget that we don't know who we are. So now we must add things to define who
And it
we
starts within. It
Yeah.
starts within. So, what would you say? How would you handle a situation where there's no integrity, you know, and you keep on running this, and you keep on forgiving, and you keep on walking on without even addressing the situation? Even in your team, it can be in a friendship, it can be in a relationship, it can be in maybe your core team, where this person just does not have integrity, or it is
Or
always,
awareness.
and also don't have the hoe kan ek dit stel om dit mooi te stel? You
There's
know,
no way of putting it nicely.
But how would you handle a situation when you're in a situation like that? What would you say?
When somebody does not have self-awareness.
Yeah.
Or
Or
integrity.
Integrity.
Yeah.
And they keep on doing the same thing over
Yeah.
and over. And you let it slide and you're like, oh, you know, I shame, and you let it slide, and now it's growing and
Maybe
it's growing.
you have you made the person's supposed to be at a meeting at this time. You guys discuss this thing. Sorry, you discuss this thing, or you have to meet a friend. But
They just either don't
on the
pitch
spur
up.
of the moment, they just send a message. Sorry, I won't be able to make it, or something like that.
No, I
So because
will
you can
definitely address
actually
it.
lose yourself if you don't
No,
know who
I-
you are.
I think it's different here. I think where you two are,
right.
if julle is by die punt waar nie ons moet die ding sê en as jy dit nou vat, dan vat jy dit nou soos wat jy. We still at the cautious stage. We're like, wag eers met die ding. I think when you get to a certain stage, you're like, ag, ons het klaar die goed deurgelewe, so I can just say it like it is. But I think for me personally, I've had a couple and I have to deal with it more now because obviously we're working more now with teams. If you don't address it, it's going to grow and it's going to grow.
definitely.
And later on, it's going to consume the whole situation where you now have it, you really on the outside of it and you're just letting it be. And I think it's difficult because I don't like confrontation like that. So when I address something, you must know it has escalated to here. But it helps no one when you don't address it.
No, you have to
You
address.
have to. And for me, if there needs to be boundaries.
Yeah.
As well. So you have to address something in a certain situation. And a lot of the times it's with someone who doesn't want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah.
It's someone who's going to tell you, yeah, moenie vir my vertel nie, or do you think in your right mind? Or, they're going to say trigger words to you.
Yeah.
And I think that's where God is molding me now to say, okay, fine, you need to have a certain EQ, emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
And you also have to have the awareness to say, okay, fine, that is their shortcoming,
Right.
not your shortcoming.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's like you rightfully said, we're seasoned now. And so with that comes the permission, so to speak.
Yeah.
The
Like an
permission,
unsaid permission.
An
yes.
unsaid permission. Ek gaan jou straight vertel. I think I'm going to forgive you the first time and the second time, maar by die derde keer gaan ek sê, nee maar Joe, die werk nou nie so mooi vir my nie. As jy vat my mos nou for granted, of kan jy nie so nie, of dit. Yeah, I think it comes with experience.
Yeah.
That and like you rightfully said, you are treading on, because working with people in general,
Yes.
It's difficult.
it's very difficult.
Yeah, whether it be in the corporate
Whether
space,
it's
doesn't matter
corporate,
where.
whether it's in the
difficult.
church. And you know what? Who I found, strangely enough, is baie gevoelig, sensitive, is people in the church. man.
Yeah, they're more so
Extremely.
difficult.
I spoke to
really.
someone the other day and she was like so apologetic. I just want to apologize. No, I said, please do not apologize. I am so long over taking offenses over things. Ek is lankal verby daai, because I know I'm here, why I'm here, why I'm in the kingdom. It's not about me only. You know what I'm saying? So if somebody didn't greet me, if somebody did not look at me the right way, or it doesn't faze me anymore. Whether you raised your eyebrow and you were trying to insult me, or ek sien ook nie meer.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're so
miskien het
unaffected by it,
Yes. Miskien het ek dikvelle geraak in die proses.
And that comes with time.
And it comes with time.
It comes with
It
time.
comes with time.
I just think there's a maturity
Yes.
to it.
Yes.
That when it happens the first, the second, you somehow let it slide.
Right.
But the third, fourth time, and if you spoke to the person, I came to the conclusion that, okay, well, that's your weakness. You're going to have to deal with it.
Yes.
But for me, I'm not going to fall into your weaknesses.
Yes.
I'm going to leave it.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave it until you find
Yeah.
that, you know what, this is wrong. Because somewhere, somehow, there will be conviction
Yeah.
that I keep on doing this.
Right.
And someone addressed it with me before, So now I actually have to man up and say, man, this is a weakness. I need to deal with this thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's maturity that actually goes with it in all that.
And I think also it's very important, I think something that's very important to realize that when we're working with teams, if someone is in that situational unawareness and it is stifling the entire team.
I was going to say that it's almost, aansteeklik man. Wat is
Yes.
aansteeklik? And contagious.
It's
Yeah,
contagious.
it's contagious.
It
yeah.
rubs
Yeah,
off
it
on
does.
the other.
That's why
you need to address
that's why sê die spreekwoord een vrot appel maak die hele
En
sak vrot.
Absoluut.
So, en
Jy
dit
moet
is
dit
toch so.
nip in the bud. Jy
You
moet
have to
hom
knit.
sommer,
You have to. And you know,
identify.
as a leader, it's difficult sometimes,
Yes.
especially when you're not one for confrontation,
Yeah.
and when you have to address it the whole time.
Yeah.
But the reality of the matter is, in order to see this vision come to fruition, you're going to have to address those things,
Yeah.
because it's going to stifle the growth of the team.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be nice. Confrontation is not always going to be nice. But from your side, it's important to have emotional intelligence, a high emotional intelligence, when you have to address these things. Okay, so I just want to jump into the comments real quick. We have Henrietta and Aploon. Hello, Auntie Eva. Good morning, everyone. And then Lady Sonia Foster says, good morning, my pastors. Hoe rooier, hoe mooier. Great topic, close to my heart, authenticity. And then she says, in a whole that everybody wants to be everything, I just strive and want to remain authentic and true to myself. I must say, I draw from Lady S. I've told her before.
Oh,
So it's
yes.
not we say us.
I love that
it
about
helps
her.
me. Yes.
Yes.
Then we have Lady J says, good morning, gorgeous queens. And Auntie Heather says, thank God for revealing these things to us. We learn every day. And the inspiration, Pastor Joan. I'm enjoying the conversation. Sonia Foster says, consistency is key to authenticity. We are only responsible for our own consistency, not others. That's very powerful.
Yes,
And Yonita Edwards says, oh yes, the most sensitive people are people in church, and I agree 100%. Maturity is important, as well as respect and integrity.
Yes.
Lord help us.
Yeah, that's very true, because I know you had a some questions there that you can just maybe raise.
Yeah. One of it is, what scares me the most right now? What scares us the most right now in with being authentic? What scares us?
I think it's
How
the
many things
acceptance.
do that?
It's people's acceptance.
Yes.
I think people. Some people won't take who you are. You know what I'm saying?
So
I'm a
true.
very straightforward person. I'm a very. I can say this is white and that is black.
Yeah.
And I always try, to do it at the best I can, choosing my words,
Yes.
and so on. But I can't be false.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is to be, to have that.
Yeah.
And
We do
sometimes
what the saying-
to have, but you have a filter though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can
But is it because you want
Let
to
it
say it
s- I-
unfiltered or?
I can let it slide.
Yeah.
But if I feel, no man, this thing needs to be addressed, I'm going to say it the way it is.
Yeah.
But I think that's the obscurity, ma. And I think that's where our fear lies, because that has been classified. Yeah, if you say it like it is, it's not in love.
Yeah.
But it's because you love the person that you do say
Absolutely,
it.
you
Right.
have to.
You have
Right.
to say it.
You have
So-
to.
And
You
I-
have to correct. The Bible gives us permission to correct.
Yeah.
And that's where the filter comes in,
Yeah.
right? So there shouldn't be a problem with being frank. There should be a problem with being rude.
Yes.
That's the
Yes.
difference.
Yes.
Yeah.
Extem.
Yes.
And there's a very fine line, and people sometimes
Between rude and being assertive.
and being
Yes.
assertive.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's important for us to be assertive, because then
Yeah.
you can
You
address the
have
situation.
to.
Right.
And as a leader, you have to.
Yeah. Otherwise, you create an environment of toxicity.
Yeah.
Because now you're allowing certain things and you say, hi, maar
Yeah.
hier voel jy wil hierdie persoon ordentlik nonsens vertel.
Yeah,
And what do? We have we humans, we need an outlet.
Right.
So what do? Now I speak to someone else about my eintlik diene maak my kwaad.
Yeah.
Right? Which is toxic. Now it's a toxic environment. But if I've addressed it with the person in frankness, assertiveness, and kindness, and I've
Yeah.
addressed it with the
And you
person,
understand each other.
then my outlet
And
has
it's
been
done.
reached. And it's
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
You
It's
squashed
done.
it, it's done.
Yeah.
Nou kan ons aangaan weer.
Yeah.
I had a situation like that where I addressed it with the person. And a lot of the times we do want to speak our mind. And we want to say, hi man, jy's delusional man, jy moet die ding reg maak.
Right.
Sometimes you want to say that. And the Holy Spirit really did guide me through that. And when I looked at the conversation in retrospect, I took a couple of punches. And sometimes we have to take a couple of
definitely.
punches for the sake of the conversation.
Yes.
Today, I could address that. There were certain things I took a couple of punches for.
Yeah.
And if I was my old self, I would have said, this is so, and it's not like that. It's like this, it's like that. And sometimes it's not worth it for the conversation. And today, I can look at that person in the eye. We can still talk. I can still call upon her.
Yes.
I can still speak to her. But if I had head on just pressed my agenda because I want to tell her nonsense, or not nonsense, but I want to tell her the frankness, because it might be factual. I might be right. But being right is not always beneficial for the situation.
Yes.
I need to address certain points. So you need to break it down a little bit with the person, address certain points so that they can become aware of the situation. But it's not necessary to ruin the person with your frankness, or break the person completely. You come in with that.
Right. So what do you do in a situation in a marriage? I'm now just thinking and this was not what I have prepared, but it came to mind now. You know, sometimes you're in a marriage, and you have an opinion, or in the conversation, or can I say in the heat of a conversation, when there is a little bit of a dispute, or there's a little bit of a misunderstanding. And many times as women, we go back in our shells. We feel that, but you've hurt me. You get what I'm saying? But you don't say it. You don't say it. We never speak out, because we want to keep the peace. Right? And many times we actually get hurt in the silence. Are you with me?
I hear
That to me, come I tell you, that to me is where you actually totally, in a marriage, lose yourself.
But you know, in that moment also, if that is going to happen in front of people, one has to. You have to be quiet.
Be wise,
Be wise, but then wait for the right,
correct time,
the correct opportunity. In my personal life, that is what I would do. You know, or did over the years. Because nobody's marriage is perfect, and mine certainly wasn't.
No
and
marriage
it grew.
is perfect.
We evolved together, and we at a good space right now. But I would definitely challenge the person and say, that is how you made me feel.
Yes.
You know, and it's not
so
acceptable.
You find a lot of people, husband or wife, right?
Both ways.
You keep quiet. For the sake of peace. But there's no peace.
So, especially when it happens over and over. If it happens over, like the first time you let it slide, then it happens and it happens and it happens again. And now you sort of like draw back into your shell. The reality is, as humans, we need an outlet. So as much as we feel that we're keeping quiet, it comes out somewhere else in a different way. And I found that with myself, and to the point where me and my husband had to sit and say, don't hint. Don't nie still stay pakry and hint, because what happens, I'm quiet now, but now I frustrate him in a different area. Because whether it's intentional or unintentional, dit moet iewers uitkom. So that's why the people say, that's not, jy het nou die ding heel uit verband uitgeruk. And then you find that, the reason why this thing escalated wasn't really because you left the socks there. It was something completely different, because it was something somewhere where I felt stifled, and because I feel like I don't have a voice, or I feel like, okay, ek was gekap op my vingers, now I'm just gonna, retreat back. It comes out somewhere else, which is why it's very important. A lot of the times, I think there are some women that they find it difficult to voice. I know I have someone in my circle that finds it very difficult to voice her opinion, or when she's been hurt or whatever. She goes extremely quiet. She literally goes quiet. She doesn't talk, to the point where she ignores the person. And
I used to be like that.
And it's a defense mechanism. But it's important for us to find the strength to actually say something. And it's not what we say, it's how we say it.
Absolutely.
It's important for us to find the strength.
Yes.
And I had to bring myself very, because it used to escalate.
Yeah.
I'd keep quiet, and for a couple of months it would be fine. And we had 6-month cycles.
Yeah.
And then at the 6th month, because I felt like I had to be in my shell, and the pressure was growing, now it exploded. Now we're at the point where I'm disrespectful, and it came out like that. I became disrespectful, and he felt like he see me mosirake now. We both are right, because I feel frustrated, he feels frustrated, and it just escalates. But we had to find a way to communicate that in the right setting, in the right time. Because you can't just say it anywhere.
Yeah.
Like
And because
Can you imagine how boring life was going to be when everybody was the same? How boring life
no,
would have been
yes,
if I looked like you,
yeah,
huh? And you looked like
If
we
all
all look the same.
we all look the
So
same.
now you're sitting here, you're watching this show, and we all look the same.
Yeah.
That's boring, man.
is.
But
That's boring. We all walk around and our husbands all look the same.
but not just that, we'll be faced with the
How
same
would you-
problems.
I
We
see.
wouldn't have a conversation like this. We wouldn't have a podcast.
That is why I love the diversity.
Yes.
And that's why everybody comes with different packages.
Right.
Everybody comes with different attitudes. Everybody comes with
Yes.
different things that they can bring on the table, you know,
Yeah.
the strengths, and everybody have weaknesses. So if we accept each other for who they are, you know, life would be so much more there would be harmony.
Harmonious.
There would be
Yes.
harmony,
Yeah.
right? And that is why if we come to solutions, finding yourself back again is to go back,
Yes.
you know, go back on your journey and see, where did I lose myself?
Right.
Where did this thing start?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and try to get it
Back to oneself.
to who you are.
Yeah.
That will bring so much joy to you.
Yes,
you know,
absolutely.
I didn't have family pictures. My parents didn't. I don't have albums
Yeah.
where I can see, you know, go back to pictures and see what type of child I was and how we were. Or so I can't remember going out as a family with
Yeah.
my parents, you know. I can't remember things like that. So that already is a loophole
Yeah.
that I said when I get married, I really want to take my children out when I can, you know, and go as a family. That is why I love family, because it's important, you know. Even if you have a big family, I understood that, you know, I understand now that my parents couldn't do
Yeah.
what we are doing today.
But today we can do better, right?
We can do better.
You know, I also enjoyed this couple of days ago, just embracing my heritage once again.
Yeah.
I went back to my roots. I
That's
went back
right.
to the house in 2nd Avenue Retreat where my
Oh,
grandmother lived, and I showed my husband. Now this is where I grew up.
Wow.
That's the primary school we went to. You know, Thomas Wilskut, and my mom went to that school, and you know my siblings went to that school,
trip down
and it was
memory
such
lane.
a beautiful. A wonderful
Nice
feeling,
feeling.
you know, just to connect with your past. Sometimes we are embarrassed about where we come from.
Yes,
You know,
that's
if I grew up
correct.
poor, if
That's
you
right.
know, so we
That's
need
right.
to embrace who we
We
are.
are.
And that's part of
Because
being
now you can
authentic.
see the beauty.
Yes,
You
and
know?
if you've made progress, isn't it
That-
beautiful
it's
to show?
beautiful, man.
Ek kom van
I
hy
started-
pandokkie af.
Yes,
Jy
man.
kyk waar bly
I
ek nou.
started there.
This is
Look
where I
at
started.
me
Look
now.
at me now.
You know, and so yeah. Our time is actually up, but I just want to get you to the following steps that you can actually start getting yourself back. Identify your values. You know, you have certain values
Yes.
as a human being.
Yes.
So identify the values. Identify who you want to be.
Right.
You know, live with integrity.
Yeah.
Communicate honestly.
Right.
Don't make assumptions. Develop self-confidence and manage your emotions. It's very
very
important.
important, yeah.
Go back to the journey that you actually used to
Yes.
tread upon,
Right.
Yeah.
used to walk,
Right.
and get those values
Yeah.
that you loved
Right.
and live it today.
Yeah.
That is actually finding your authentic self, because it's important not to live anybody else,
Yeah.
but to live you
Yes.
and live the best you could ever be. Your
Amen.
last comments, guys?
Yes, I just want to. Sonia Foster says, "What scares us the most is the fear of rejection and judgment. We are concerned if people see us for who we truly are. They
Right.
might not accept us. People fear this. As for me, Skawara, I don't know what that might be. Can shed light." So she also says, we
We've been criticized.
we fear being criticized or misunderstood. Sure, I've been misunderstood so many times, but that didn't change who I am. Exactly, Jones. Sameness is boring. Even in our opinions, sharing, we can't be the same. Our differences builds and shapes us. And this is very true.
That's very true. Last comments.
Well, for me, I would say, just show up as yourself. Give yourself permission to be authentic.
Yeah.
Because it's very stressful to want to be like someone else.
Yeah.
And to want to walk, especially with one's husband too. If you have a partner or a husband, to have your own identity and not be a miniature Xavier and a miniature Les. Just
And Carl,
be
yeah.
and calm.
Yeah.
Be Violet. Be
Yeah.
your own selves.
Yeah.
And so when we do that, it's so liberating.
Yeah.
It just frees you up to want so baie ons gaan onder stres want ons wil ander tevrede stel. So let's start by And the other thing I wanted to just latch onto what you said earlier on is the rudeness. That there's such a fine line, like we said, between assertiveness and rudeness is to be kind.
Yeah.
To be kind, om te dink voor jy praat, man. Ek weet, Joan, jy sê mos jy like om reg te wees. Maar mens moet dink aan how you
Nee,
gonna
ek
make
dink-
someone.
ek
I know
dink,
you. I know
sister.
you. No, I know. I
Ek
know
sal
you.
nog gaan
No.
sê
Ja.
onbeskof is nie. Ek
Verstaan,
sê onbeskofte
ja.
mens groot gemaak.
Nee, ek weet.
And
Yeah.
that resonates with, it's not what you say, it's how you
how.
say it.
Yes.
That
Yes.
makes the world a difference.
You know what also brings you to being your authentic self is to be trustworthy,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Yeah.
And it starts
Someone
with
with
you.
integrity, yeah.
Your honesty starts with yourself.
Yeah.
Because if you're not honest with yourself, you will not be honest with someone
So
else.
true.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you don't trust yourself, you will
Yes.
not be able to trust someone else.
Right.
And that is
Yeah.
really very
Yeah.
important.
Dank je,
That's
Manana.
important.
Yeah.
From my side, I just want to say, be beautiful. Be you.
Right. Yeah.
Beautifully you. Just do
Yes.
that, because that people can see when you're just living in your skin,
Right.
you're just being authentically you
Comfortable in
and
the
comfortable,
skin,
and people can see, and that exudes confidence.
Absolutely.
So,
Thank you, ladies. Thank you,
Yes.
gents. Thank you so much for everybody who tuned in. We really appreciate you. We know that it's going to be a beautiful day because it's summer, man. And
Yes.
I love living in summer. I love you. God loves you best. Go in the peace of the Lord. Until next week. Mwah.
bye.
In the shadows, as I look upon my life, in the shadows, there's a passion inside. Heaven knows I'm living my dreams. As I look upon my life, in the shadows, there's a passion inside.